You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Great to have you here today to start the week off right with our Mindset and Motivation Monday. One of my favorite topics today is how do we discover our overall passion and purpose in life? So one of the things I think a lot of people are dealing with right now, and maybe this concerns you or maybe a friend, a coworker, a family member, a loved one, is that you're trying to figure out, am I just wasting my time? Am I just going through the motions? Am I truly getting the most out of life? And of course, some days certainly feel better than others. My job and my practice is to help people in both mind and body. So what I try to help people discover is that sometimes when they're at their worst in terms of mood or digestion or overall stress, it's that the mind does play a role in this. And part of it has to do with you just don't feel like you're in your best point or best place in life. So how do we get out of that? How do we figure out the answer? Well, part of the answer is to understand that many of us are on this journey truly discovering what is our greatest potential, what is our greatest passion. How do we serve to the greatest ability? This is something that's been spoken about for the past 1,000 years, right? Couple thousands of years. When we look at Ayurvedic times, a lot of people don't know this, but Ayurveda has their own branch of Ayurvedic philosophy. We look back to Greek and Roman and other type of philosophers, and we see that Aristotle was one of the biggest proponents about talking about community and service and giving back and how that can add so much to one's life and how that can eventually be someone's overall calling and purpose. Well, the catalyst for today's show actually came from a YouTube video. It was a TED Talk. It was a TEDx talk, and the talk was by Adam Leipzig. And what his talk was is basically how to discover your life's purpose in 5 minutes. And with a title like that, I couldn't help but actually watch the whole video and listen into it. So as I'm listening to the video, I just see all of these correlations with things that we've been talking about on previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays. And then I look back and I say, okay, yes, this matches up with Ayurvedic, and this matches up with the Greek and Roman-based philosophies. And it's about finding your place in this world, and it's not always easy. And again, I want you to understand this, is that even when you've made it, right, you are at your best point in life, there's still going to be days that feel like a low, that aren't your best spot in life. And that happens. That will always happen. But I think we need that. We need that in order to truly appreciate when we're having those good days. And there always has to be the juxtaposition. We look at the great Tao. We look at the yin-yang symbol. We look at the 5 points in Chinese medicine and the 5 points in Ayurveda and how they balance each other. We look at that with all the minerals in the body, right? Calcium is balanced with magnesium. Sodium is balanced with potassium. Copper is balanced with zinc. And when you start to learn these things in integrative medicine and integrative health, you see that it's not just thought process, it's not just the mind, but it's the actual body, and that's how it stays balanced as well. So we do need one without the other, but there's many people out there right now struggling with more days than good. And those are the people that we need to reach out to the most, whether it's ourself in the beginning. Remember that beautiful quote by Jim Rohn, that I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me. So let's take care of ourselves first. A lot of people say, no, I'm just going to, try to help other people. No, take care of yourself first, right? A full cup has more to give. You need to fill up your own cup first. If you lack energy, if you lack drive, if you lack love, if you lack any of those things, it is so much harder to give it to others. It's more forced. So that's why I'm a big proponent of take the time. It's not going to take that long. We're talking 3-4 months to help really rebalance the body. Good, that's going to give you more energy. Then take about that same amount of time to get more to working on the mindset. Remember, you don't need to be perfect in order to begin to move on with that next phase of your life. But you do need to be stable. That's what I talk about. So get a little bit more energy. Start to take care of the body a little bit more. Start to take care of the mind a little bit more. And I do believe that a lot of this begins with the body. That's why, the show's tagline of the Cabral concept is change your body, change your life. Because if you change the body as much as you can, again, some things are, whether it be a congenital based or whether it be something that isn't able to be changed, but most things are. If you're coming to me with some type of sickness or dis-ease of the body or weight gain or whatever it might be, all of those things can be changed. They absolutely can. So please don't let anybody tell you that you can't lower your cholesterol, you can't lower your blood pressure, that you can't remove that type 2 diabetes, that you can't take the weight off. Don't let anybody convince you of that, right? Because the first step is first we need to believe that, then we'll go about finding the answer. But if you don't believe it, all those answers that are always all around you, you're not going to take advantage of them. So work the mind first, let's change the body, and then we come full circle. Then we start to get back to the mindset of, okay, now what can I achieve? How can I take my life to that next level? That's what it's all about. So today I want to share with you those 5 points on the TEDx talk that goes along with, again, one of my favorite, not my favorite, but again, I do like studying philosophy. It's one of my favorite things to study. Psychology, philosophy, I love to learn how the mind works. I've studied, I was that person who read textbooks on cognitive behavioral therapy when they were out of college just for the fun of reading the textbooks. But to me, it is fun. To me, learning how the mind works is probably more important than anything else. And here's why. I know right now of where I'm at in my life and in my practice and the virtual practice and all the labs that I read and all that I can help people figure out what's wrong with them. But I cannot help them to actually follow through, to overcome the obstacles whenever they hit one, to stay on track and stay consistent, right? So what I need to do is I need to teach them to empower themselves because I'm not with them. Neither are my health coaches. My health coaches are not with our wellness clients every single week. We speak with our wellness clients once a month. And that means 168 hours a week? I'm not going to do the difficult math, but that's over 600 hours a month. And we're with that person one out of those over 600, 650 or so hours per month. That's it. So that means I need to help people on these Mindset and Motivation Mondays and direct them to other locations as best that I can. And I spoke about that on last Friday review. I do hope you checked out that book. Is in order to get the life that we want, to get the body we want, to get the health we want, to get the career we want, to get the relationships we want, to get the spirituality we want, we need to be able to become self-aware and start to control our most dominant thoughts. And a lot of that is helped along by beginning to realize your life's purpose, your passions. And even if you don't have it set today, of what you would like to work towards. So let me take you through those 5 steps right now. The first one is this, and this is by Adam Leipzig, and it is a TEDx talk on how to find your passion in just 5 minutes. So I will try to link that up on today's show notes as well. Maybe I'll even just embed the YouTube video if you'd like to watch that YouTube video as well. And today's show notes are stephencabral.com/1081. Just head on over there and you will find today's show. For all previous Cabral concepts, head on over to stephencabral.com/podcast. Okay, so the first question, 5 questions. The first one is this, and it's the easiest. And it is, who are you, right? So who you are. And, the first part is simple. You just state your name. So I'm Stephen Cabral. But then you go one step further and you understand this. It's not just your name, but it's this, because someone could have your name, of course, right? But it's your unique fingerprint on the world. There's no one else that's exactly like you. 8 billion people. 8 billion people. That's so hard to even comprehend. It really is. Just to think about how many people there are on Earth. And you're one of those 8 billion. Now, it might seem like, it doesn't matter. I'm just one of 8 billion, but it does. Because there's not one other person that has the same unique makeup as you. Okay, physiological makeup, thumbprint, exact DNA, right? So that's the amazing thing. So what I want you to look at is this, is that you are unique. You do have something to bring to this world, even if you don't know what it is right yet, right? Or maybe even right now is not your moment, but you're working towards it. A lot of times we think, it has to happen right now. Not always, right? before we get to that next step, we're always preceding it, right? We haven't taken that next step on that ladder. We haven't taken that next step down the path. It's there, it's waiting for us, and our time will come. The second question is this: what do you do? So it's what you do. Who am I? What do I do? So I want you to think of this a few ways. So you might say right now, well, I'm a mom and I have 3 kids, and my full-time job is I manage the whole household. I always have a great dinner prepared and meals for the family. I take the kids to school. I manage everything that goes on in the household. Well, that's what you do. And it can be what you currently do right now, but it's also, you might have a plan for the future as well, right? So I work with so many moms in my practice, and they say, okay, yeah, my kids are 12, they're 8 and 6. Okay, great. So I look at it as, all right, well, as the kids get older, they're in high school, you're going to have more potential time and options and all those things. But at the longest, your youngest child is 6. So you have about 12 years, right, before they go off to college. So great. And you're, let's just say, 44 years old, right? So in 12 years, what's your game plan, right? What's your game plan? Because right now, we have people living easily. Again, if you take care of yourself easily, 80s, 90s, and it can be in great health as well. So we have to think about what is the stage we're at right now, and then what is that next stage for whatever we desire, because we can't just stop, right? That's the point that I'm going to get to with a lot of these as well. And there's many, many people, and I work with them as well, and they're in finance, and they don't love it. That's for sure. They absolutely do not love it. But they say, you know what? I'm making good money, and I'm going to stick it out for another 5 years, okay? And let's just say they're 35 years now, 35 years old. So they're going to say, I'm going to stick it out until I'm 40. I know it's not my passion. I know it's not my calling. I know it's not who I am at the core. Because I hear this all the time. They say, I want to be a health coach. I want to be in the health and fitness industry. I'll be 40 years old. Is that possible? Of course it's possible. Not only that, you'll have an amazing amount of experience. You'll be able to have your own little niche. Without a doubt, you can say, like, I work with women over 40. I work with men over 40. I help men over 40 get into great shape. I help women over 40 get into great shape. I help women over 40 to rebalance their hormones, right? Like, you can come up with any different type of niche that you want. So it's understandable. Again, I work, with a lot of people in finance, right? CEOs and all sorts of financial-based advisors, et cetera, et cetera. And they say, again, not my passion, but the money that I'm making right now is going to allow me then to have other options in life. Understood. But that's what you do right now, but it's not who you are, right? So we can also think about who or what we're going to be doing in that 5 years from now. And that gives you a lot of energy, right? A lot of excitement. And then you don't have to regret the job that you're doing right now, because the job that you're doing right now is allowing you to set yourself up for the future. And that includes if you're a mom or dad and you're the head of the household and you're staying home and you're making sure that, the family works, that you're the glue holding everything together. And it's, in my opinion, probably the most important job in the world. I mean, it'd be tough to argue with that. And I certainly am a believer in that. But again, like in that role, well, you're making sure that your kids are set up for life, because it's what you're teaching them right now and it's what you're instilling with them, and you're the role model for the family. And again, the person in finance, you're saying like, okay, listen, if you have a family too, I'm willing to do these things, make certain sacrifices in order to then give our whole family options, but also myself options. And I'm going to show my family how you can then create a new life and really follow your passion and follow your dreams. And that's a great thing as well. So what I want to just always instill in people is that there are things that you're going to want to do in your life that you can absolutely achieve. Do not give up hope. Do not give up your dreams, because you can go after them without a doubt. So right now, though, my answer to the first question is, I'm Stephen Cabral, and I'm an integrative health practitioner. I'm a board-certified naturopathic doctor. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, Ayurvedic practitioner, bioregulatory, all of those great things. But that's who I am. But I'm also a husband. I'm also a father of 2 young girls. I'm also owner and founder and person that oversees 4 different health-based businesses. And I have over 24 employees and people working for me. So there's a lot of who you are, right? But what I focus on is the one thing that's more uniquely me. And that's, what do I do that's more unique to me. And what I do is that I'm able to read labs and teach people about integrative health, how to integrate every form of natural health together. That's what I do. That's more unique to me. When people ask, like, well, that's what I do. I'm able to look at any lab test in the world, and I'm able to read that data from a person's standpoint of their story, of where they're at right now, and what those numbers mean, even if they're not out of range. And what I do with those numbers is read it from the lens of every form of natural medicine that's ever been created. The third question is this: who you do it for. It's very interesting. The last three questions are no longer about you, which I love. And this goes back to, again, service, community, what life is truly all about, which I'll teach you about right at the end. So who you do it for. What I do is I do it for those people that have never found their answer in order to help them get well, lose the weight, and finally feel alive again. So the people that I work with either need to get well, they may need to lose the weight, some need to gain the weight, and there are just a lot of people out there who lack the zest and the vitality and the passion for life. And I want to help those people as much as anyone else. Because if you're just going through the motions, you're missing out on life. You know, as far as we know it, whether we become reincarnated or not, wherever our energy goes, wherever it flows, whatever happens after we die, everyone is allowed to debate on that. And I think it's all positive and all good to bring up many, many different thought processes on this. But for right now, what we know, at least on this earthly plane, right? At least here where we are in the universe, is let's make this life, let's make this opportunity we have the best life that we can. Right? But in order to do that, we need to get as well as we can, transform our body to the best ability that we can. And it does not mean that you need to get in cover model shape, right? Fitness model shape. It just means that you need to stay at a healthy weight. That's it. At that healthy weight will automatically put you at less risk for disease, for diabetes, for cardiovascular, for stroke, blood pressure, and cancer. Keep a healthy weight. To me, I mean, honestly, I know the Ayurvedic body types. I know some people are going to be leaner than others, but too lean is just as bad as being too overweight as well. So let's stay at a healthy weight, not too lean, not overweight, at a healthy weight. That's what it's all about. And that is how I help people. So that's what we're working on. And again, who you do it for. I'll repeat these questions at the end, but you need to know who you do it for. Who do you serve right now in life? So if you're the finance person, woman or man, then you are helping people to better manage their money or show them a return on their investments so that they have more in retirement, etc. And if you're the mom or their dad that's staying at home and you're getting your kids ready for school and you're packing lunches and you're making sure that your kids' socks match and all of those different things that there's just so many different things that have to get done in one day. You're serving your children, you're serving your family, but in my opinion, you're serving even something greater. And that's because your children are one day going to be adults, right? And they may even be parents. And if they're parents, well, you are their role model. You are the person that they're going to emulate, whether you like it or not. That is how the subconscious mind works. Under the age of 8 years, 10 years at the very most, children are more susceptible, closer to a theta-based state. Whatever they see, they absorb. Not just hear, but see. Your kids are going to understand what you tell them to do, but more importantly, they're going to see how you do it, what you do, and then look at that versus what you're saying, and 9 times out of 10, go for what the action is, what they're actually seeing happen, right? Because that's what the mind's picking up, much, much more powerful. So remember, you're not just doing it for now, you're doing it for their life and potentially your grandkids as well. So what you're doing right now holds a lot of weight. And I like to put that out there right now because I know there's already a lot of pressure as it is on adults and parents of kids, especially younger kids, but it's such an important job. So it's very important to say that's why I'm doing it, so that I give my kids their best life. Maybe it's something that you didn't have as a child, right? So you say, I'm going to give my children what I didn't have. Or you might say, I'm going to give my kids the same great upbringing that I had. You're going to say one of those specific things as well. Number 4 is this, why they need it. So whoever you're serving, why do they need it? Because you're doing it for someone, right? So I'm helping those people that have never found their answer in order to help them get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. Now, why do they need it? Well, the reason that I'm doing it for people is not just to help them alleviate the autoimmune or the cardiovascular issues or whatever it might be, right? The migraines, the headaches, the skin rashes, etc. Well, why I'm doing it? Yes, the surface level things, of course, I'm trying to help with that, right? But it's so that they can go on and live their best life. That's why I'm doing it. And that's why everyone is doing it, hopefully. Meaning like, again, the person in finance. And what are they doing? Well, they're making money for their family so their family has more options and they can give their, whether it be their parents, take care of them or their kids, whatever it might be. But they're also giving the clients that they're helping to make more money for retirement, whatever it be, have their best life. And if you're that parent taking care of the kids, well, you're doing what you do so that your kids can have their best life. That is, in essence, what we're trying to do. And I'm just kind of realizing this as I'm playing it out in my own head right now. Like, that's why we serve. So that others will have a little less pain in their life. So that they can go on and live a better life. Ideally, their best life. That's what we're trying to do. And again, everyone's best life is a little bit different. So that's number 4. Number 5 is this. What the people you're serving are getting out of this and how they'll be changed because of it. So for me, I'm helping people to get well, lose weight, feel alive again, so they can go on and live their best life. And the reason I'm doing that is so that when they're well, when they've figured out how to lose the weight, when they feel like they have more vitality in their life and they feel alive again, they're going to then go and lift someone else up. They're going to go then serve someone else. Why? Because their cup is now full. They've figured out something. When you figure out something in your life, you want to share that with others. I don't care who you are, honestly. The reason I created the Cabral concept, the reason why I do a daily podcast is because I was doing over 20,000 appointments per year. We've done well over 250,000 appointments. I have a very large team. I did not want to continue to open up wellness centers. A lot of other people would love to do that. I said this, I know what I do works, not from an ego perspective, but I know it works. And if I had this information 20 years ago, I would have been able to get well within probably 4 to 6 months maximum. And that's someone who was extremely sick, right? Addison's and POTS and type 2 diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia and brain fog and myalgic encephalomyelitis, candida overgrowth, SIBO, IBS, all these issues, terrible hives and allergies. You know, you name it. Like my immune system was shut down and that's what happens. You get everything, right? Your body's just a mess. Well, even then, those people would still recover in about a 6-month period of time. That bad. So here's the thing. And then you would continue to work the process. Well, I did get better. Eventually, I did find a mentor that was able to pull things together for me. And then I did go back and get my degree. And then I did go back and I studied all around the world. And I studied all the ancient masters in India and Sri Lanka. And I went to Europe and I studied all over the US. I did those things and I found the answer. What would I possibly do when I have all this information? Keep it to myself? Of course not. So my goal was this. I would see 20,000 people a year. Not just me personally, of course. That's not humanly possible. Most people can see about 2,000 people or 2,000 appointments a year at 40 hours a week. But, you know, when you have a team, you can do 10x that. And that's what we were doing. And we were totally maxed out. So then I said this. And podcasts were starting to grow. And well, they were already growing. I'm a little late to the game sometimes. This is 3 years ago. So I said, wouldn't it be amazing if instead of doing 20,000 appointments a year, or still do that, but wouldn't it be great to be able to reach 20,000 people a day? And that's what we're now doing on the Cabral concept. Reaching over 20,000 people a day. I've achieved that goal, and I feel better about my work because I'm not limited to the amount of people that I can see in a private practice. Is everybody that runs a lab through Equilibrium Nutrition, I can read all of those labs. And I give my protocols and my recommendations to the health coaches. And my health coaches that are certified by me then get on the phone and give you that information. So now I can read hundreds of labs per week. I could never see hundreds of people per week. I can't. But what I can do is I can read all the labs and I can give all the recommendations, especially based on a person's symptoms, because we have this down to a science. And then you can work with a health coach, one of my health coaches. And that's what we do today. So that's my why, right? So when you put it all together, this is what happens. It looks something like this. And you put all 5 questions together, right? Who you are, what you do, who you do it for, why they need it, what the people you serve get out of it, and how they change. Those are the 5 questions you need to ask yourself, and about 3 are about service. The first 2 are setting you up for service in your life. And when you put it all together, it looks a little bit like this. I'm Stephen Cabral, and I integrate all forms of natural medicine in order to help others find their wellness, weight loss, or anti-aging answers so that they can go on to live their best life and eventually help others do the same. So when you look at that and you put it all together, you can start to understand your passion in life, your life's purpose. And I would love for you today to take those 5 questions, which I will list at stephencabral.com/1081. Give it some time. Think about it. And whether you're able to do it right now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, that's okay. And you can even start to do it part-time. In our Integrative Health Practitioner course and certification, we actually teach people how you can just do this for a couple hours a week, how you can begin to work with others as a life coach or a health coach or whatever it might be. And if that makes sense for you, I invite you just to check it out. But what I want you to do is understand this. Everyone on this earth has unique attributes, and they have a unique way of seeing the world. That unique way of seeing the world through compassion or whatever your great ability is something that others need. And we don't need to share with 8 billion people. That's where we sometimes get confused. What about sharing that with 20 people? How about 100 people? One day that might even grow to thousands of people. But the place to start is discovering what brings you joy in life. What would you love to do where you can provide service to others? If you can answer that question, maybe you already have, you'll discover your true purpose in life. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Mindset and Motivation Monday. As always, if this show was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.